What's up, guys? I'm Shane, and I feel like I need to throw my hat in the ring right now. There's been a lot of criticism over College Football 25 and everyone accusing it of being quote-unquote a Madden reskin. And while everyone's entitled to their own opinions and their own criticisms, the bigger question is, why is being a reskin a bad thing? I've made it very clear I haven't played Madden in years. I'm unfamiliar with the Frostbite engine, so I'm not an expert on whether or not this is a true reskin or if it's a lazy argument, but I'm not interested in that. What I'm more interested in talking about is, why should we care? Let's head back to the summer of 2003. A young Shane sees a review on Toonami of all places, talking about a game series that is making its debut on consoles. It's a very positive review that talks about how many hours you can pour into the game if you so choose, and how it can take hours to trek across the map, which was right up my alley back in high school. That game was called The Elder Scrolls III: Morrowind. A couple months later, and that same young Shane wins a totally legal football pool and uses that money to purchase an Xbox. He also grabs a used copy of that said Morrowind game, and sure enough, there go the next 2 years of my life. Cut to a few years later, and a follow-up game called Oblivion is announced. It launches on the Xbox 360 early in its life cycle, and the game is stunningly beautiful and is heaped with awards upon awards, every Game of the Year award you can think of. Now, fast forward again a few years to Bethesda announcing their first entry in the Fallout series called Fallout 3, featuring Liam Neeson being a much worse father than he was in Taken. When that came out, it was also an incredible experience, but even then I couldn't help but notice that it played and felt like Oblivion with guns. Did that affect me? No. Did I still pour hundreds of hours in Fallout 3 across 2 different consoles? Absolutely. Did it bother me that it was just an Oblivion reskin? Not at all. In fact, there are plenty of other games that count towards this as well. Red Dead Redemption 2 seems to be the game taking everyone by storm. I personally haven't played much of it. I know most people love it and consider it one of the greatest games of all time, but I've played the first game, and you could argue that it's just a Grand Theft Auto reskin. Again, is this necessarily a negative? No, it's not. This happens with all major developers. You can always feel elements of one game to the next if you've ever played a BioWare game, from Baldur's Gate all the way through the Mass Effect series. Games applauded for feeling different from one game to the next, but still have the same awkward walk away from a conversation animation all throughout the series. Meanwhile, I've seen people criticize The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom for being a glorified DLC for Breath of the Wild. But those same people then say Majora's Mask is their favorite in the series, which by their own logic is a glorified DLC for Ocarina of Time. So there's plenty of hypocrisy here. And going back to BioWare, Anthem failed for a lot of reasons, but the big one was that it felt like a Destiny clone. Scratch that, it was a Destiny clone. But I still enjoyed the game anyways. And while it seems like that's the end of the Anthem franchise, the fan backlash from similarities can be a death nail. Brace yourselves, I'm bringing up Saints Row again. The first 2 Saints Row games were what most people consider to be the best of the series, but it could never escape the Grand Theft Auto clone discourse, so Volition spent so much effort trying to distance itself from GTA that it eventually distanced itself from itself, resulting in that garbage 2022 reboot and the end of Volition as a whole. But again, look at the beauty of reskins. Some of the most influential games of the last 20 years are what some would call reskins or rip-offs or whatever it may be. But how's that any different from books or movies or television? The Lion King has been hailed as one of the best Disney animations not based off a fable, but most people don't realize it's instead a retelling of Macbeth. Star Wars is one of the most profitable entertainment properties in history, but it's built on the back of Dune as well as the old spaghetti westerns. Stories have always been retold or reimagined, and while it's tiresome sometimes to see a lack of imagination, I appreciate when a strong foundation is built further upon to make something great. Madden may not be a good game in the eyes of most people anymore, but the foundation that EA has built over the course of 30 plus years making football games is solid enough that a team with fresh ideas and the ability to put those ideas in place can create greatness from it, which I believe College Football 25 has pulled off. And so have all the games I talked about in this video, except Saints Row 2022. So for me, I don't care if it's a reskin or not. I don't think you should either. But again, that's just my opinion. Who knows if I'm right or wrong? That's all it is. It's all subjective. But that's it. I just wanted to wade in, have a little conversation with you guys. Thanks for listening to me ramble. Until next time, just be sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. I'll see you next time.